Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the inaugural launch of Operation Separation. I'm your host, Shel Shapiro. This is new for me. This is the first time that I have ever done a live stream as a host. I'm used to being in the guest spot. And so, no amount of preparation or practicing will ever make me feel comfortable doing this, but I'm excited to jump in today and tell you all about Operation Separation and why I think it's so important. I'm going to do this every Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. I will try to keep them no more than 15, 20 minutes tops because your time is valuable and I want to honor that. And I want the content to be digestible. And I can very easily go on a tangent, as many of you know. So think the shorter, the sweeter, the juicier the tidbits, the better. And let's dive right in. So, like I said, I am Shel Shapiro. I am the owner of Shell Station. I am a career coach. I am an activational speaker, a 2 times self-published author. All of this has happened within the last almost 3 years. And every year around my birthday, which was this past Saturday, February 12th, I tend to go big or go home and launch something because I get really excited and passionate about the things that I'm working on. And I want to share them with the world. When something's good, I just want other people to know about it. And while things that work for me and things that don't work for me might not be for everybody, I think it's worth having a voice and for people to know because you may not have thought of some of the things that I have to share, and you may have not thought about things in the way that I share them because my story is unique, and a lot of people may be able to resonate with it and have similar stories to share. So, what is Operation Separation? Well, how do I even start this? Um, Before I actually do that, I will caveat this, which I do often because nobody's in my head except for me, and so I think of things and then I blurt them out before I've had a full thought out thing. So I like to connect the dots on things. So um, Separation for me was like something that I didn't plan. As a planner or like somebody who is used to planning and being in control of things and navigating my own thing. Um, this was something that I just did because I needed to. Not just because, but because I needed to. 3 years ago, I was broken. I was in a bad place work wise. I was breaking down physically, mentally. There was nowhere to go but further down. And I didn't want to get any lower than I already felt. Now I'm not talking like suicidal, um, or like I would have done any physical harm intentionally to myself, but I was in a pretty low place and I had the awareness at the time to know that I needed something more. I knew that I needed something better, that I deserved better, that I wanted better, that I just wanted to do something different. And I also had the awareness and the strength to ask for help. Um, but this quote from Mel Robbins sticks in my head all the time. No one's coming to save you. No one's coming to pick you up. No one's coming to save you. Um, and I really wanted that. I asked for help. I got laughed at. I got told to stick it out, keep going, and nobody was coming to save me. I wasn't the princess in the story getting rescued by the prince. I wasn't like being lifted off the ground or like carried to safety. I was asking for help with my work, with my life, with all the things that were going on repeatedly. I asked numerous times and denied. And so Operation Separation became the way that I saved myself. because out of necessity, because there was nowhere else to go and I couldn't keep banging my head against the wall doing those things. Um, what did this look like? Let's talk about that for a second. And the caveat that I wanted to mention before, which I didn't even mention because I went off track from the sidetrack, is I never have anything scripted because even as a planner, I don't like things to feel forced. And so I have an overarching topic today, which is to forget what you think you know about love. But I don't have anything specifically written out, not even bullet points today, about the types of ways that I want to discuss this. Um, what did Operation Separation look like for me? Well, while I was curled up in a ball in the fetal position, crying and shaking and trying to get myself back up again, um, I challenged myself. I challenged myself to do something different and make a radical change and not have a plan in place for the future. Everybody had previously said, like, oh no, you can't leave your job until you have something better lined up. You have to know what your finances are going to look like. How are you going to live? How long will you be able to sustain yourself? Well, what I was doing wasn't sustainable already. So it didn't really matter what was next. It just mattered that something different was next. And so I challenged myself to separate. I took 2 weeks off. I didn't really tell anybody that I was going to do this. But still, as a kind of planner and people pleaser, um, I I put it on the calendar so that people would know that it was coming. I planned and tried to stay late in the days leading up to it to get as much work done, to cover all my bases, leave notes every way, shape, or form, digital, handwritten, printouts, like all the things to cover, like so that people would know what they needed to do, when they needed to do it, who to contact, the clients. Like I had emails pre-written and like scheduled to go out so that they knew what was going on and were in the loop. But I physically didn't tell anybody that I was going to do this. I just did it. And then the day came and I just didn't show up to work. Now, if anybody had looked at the calendar, they would have seen that this was coming. But nobody bothered to look, right? And so I just didn't show up. I didn't answer my phone. I just laid in my bed and put the covers over my head. And that was one of the hardest days. Like I was already broken, but like that was one of the hardest days for me in terms of boundaries because I wanted to answer. I wanted to answer those calls, those texts. Where are you? Are you okay? How come you're not here? What are you doing? We need you to answer. Blah, 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 blah. And I lasted about 2-3 hours before I actually responded and said, I'm here. I'm here, but I am not okay. And I am taking this time for myself. And that's it. And it kind of blew their minds. Like, is she serious? Like, what's really going on? And it didn't matter because for the first time, maybe ever, it was for me. It wasn't for anybody else, which was huge, right? So during this 2 week time frame, I separated myself. I got more and more comfortable in the boundary that I had set on day one of answering less and less, being less and less available. And that was the biggest challenge, right? Could I separate myself? Could I wean myself off of this day to day, this bumping my head against the wall, this not stopping, this grind, 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 go, go, go? And could that lead to some change for me? Well, 2 weeks came and went. And I had told myself, if I feel even a little bit better after that time frame, now's the time. It doesn't matter. Like, now's the time. It doesn't matter what anybody says. Doesn't matter what anybody is going to do or say or think. I'm going to do this for me. And I did. I felt a little bit better. I felt a little bit more rested. I could actually form a thought behind, like, who did I forget to like reach out to? What work did I forget to do? What does everybody need from me? and get out of that panic mode. And that was the beginning. That was the beginning of the end, or the end of the beginning. I don't know which way is right, because all ways are right now. It got me out of that situation. And again, it wasn't something that I had overly developed a plan for. I didn't have a backup option. I didn't have a like, what happens if they come back with this? What happens if it doesn't work? Like, no, this is happening and we'll figure it out as we go along. And this is something that's really new for me. And I think a lot of people can relate to this, because how many times in your life, whether it's a toxic work environment, whether you're feeling stressed or overwhelmed in work or your relationships or your family life, with your friends, or you're tired of wearing all the hats and doing all the things, or you're physically just not feeling great, but nobody can see it on the outside because it's an internal thing, and you're tired of explaining yourself. Whatever the case may be, there's so many ways that you can deploy operation separation to restore yourself, reclaim who you are, who you want to be, and step out into something new. It doesn't matter what that new thing is. It doesn't matter what that could look like, or what the future might bring. But the operation separation of it all is the challenge. It's the action. It's the relief that you feel once you've taken that action to get yourself out of whatever that situation may be. And so over the next however many weeks, again, I'm going to try to do this every Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern time. I really want to explore that further. I'm going to have some amazing guests come on. No, this will not continue to be a solo mission, because I'm not the only one that has something to say on this. Am I the first person to call it Operation Separation and give that name to it? Maybe, sure, probably. I think so. But other people can resonate and have gone through similar things in some way, shape, or form. And there are other people who are also doing amazing work to help people navigate this, either before to prevent it, during to get you through it, or afterwards to help you sustain it, right? So my mission during Operation Separation is to bring on some amazing professionals that can share their stories, tell you how they navigated it for themselves, and share how they help people navigate it regularly, like the amazing work that they're doing. And I'm really excited about it. I'm really freaked out about it, but I think it's worth celebrating, right? Because everybody's got a story to share. Now, before I forget to completely tell you about how this relates to forgetting what you know or what you think you know about love. Um, well, during this whole time frame, and even years and years before this is not something that happened overnight. This built up. I don't think I had ever really learned to love myself or have love for myself. I never really thought, you know, I can just be okay with who I am, and people are just going to love me for that, however it is that I show up. I always had this no, I need to be doing something for somebody else. I need to be helpful. I need to be a people pleaser and bend over backwards and do all the things. And eventually, I'm going to get recognized for it. I'm going to be appreciated. It's going to be validating. A lot of zinger words in there for you, but my love for myself was so deeply attached to somebody else seeing me, and that's something that I work on daily. That's something that I still struggle with and navigate. For so long, I was silent about the things that I needed. I didn't speak up when I needed something, because the times that I did, it was, shot down or discouraged from doing so. And it's only been really over the last 2-3 years that I have become more and more okay with who I am, how I show up, and the boundary is there now, right? You can't take that away. You can't break that for how I show up for myself. It's only going to get stronger and stronger, and that's the real love. It's not calling myself independent because, yeah, I was conditioned to be that way. I don't think I'm naturally independent. I was doing things for myself and taking care of myself and showing up because nobody could do it as well as me, or because if I don't do it, it's not going to get done. All the things, all the lies we tell ourselves about what it means to be independent. But I think while I was calling myself independent, I've really been super dependent on other people's affection and love for me. And if I didn't get that back, whew, I just go right into my head. It's debilitating almost. It's got this constant anxiety deep down inside me that I hold everywhere, especially in my neck and my back, when I don't feel seen and heard. And the real love isn't in something that somebody else can give you. It's in the love that you have for yourself, the things that you do for yourself, the way that you celebrate yourself and put yourself first. Last year's celebration was the release of my first book, Loving Yourself Isn't Selfish. That's the message. That's what the birth of Operation Separation has led me to, loving myself. And so, what better day to do that than today, Valentine's Day, when, yes, I love Hallmark because I love a cheesy like rom-com, and it's controllable, it's relatable. You know that the love is going to happen at the end. They're going to find each other or save the day, and it's predictable, right? Because you know that that's coming. So I do love a good cheesy Hallmark movie every once in a while, but Valentine's Day itself should not be dependent on the love that you receive from somebody else, especially if you don't have love for yourself first. So it's so important to I don't even know. Do people think about this? I think about this all the time. I want to know what people think. And so that's part of why I'm doing these lives too. Because I just threw myself out there in so many ways. I want to know, like, we don't ever really talk about it. Like, how often, like, when was the last time you said, I love myself today? And how often do you tell yourself that? Like, even, I don't even tell myself that regularly still. I have Google tell me. And every morning when I wake up, she says, Shell, you're awesome. Today's a good day to have a good day. And it like that's not, she doesn't directly tell me she loves me, but like it's a good way to start the day and reaffirm that, like, hey, like I am enough. I love myself. I am here. I am standing in my power. I am owning my story, whatever that may be. And I think that's so valuable for people to do for themselves too. So I'm going to wrap it up because I am almost at the 20-minute mark. And again, I want to be cognizant of your time limits, and keep this a little bit more digestible. I do have a lot to say on a lot of different things. Short stories are not my forte. It's like a running joke now. At least I can laugh about it. If not you, please poke fun at this all you want. Operation Separation is so important to me. It's so important to the work that I do because so often we get lost in the things that we do for others. And Operation Separation is a way to get back to you and who you are and how you show up, how you navigate the world, how you love yourself, and all the success that you can have once you open up your mind and take the action to do those things. So, I'm out of breath. Are you out of breath just listening to this? Again, in the next few weeks, I have some amazing guests coming on. If this sounds like something that you want to continue to be part of, please, please, please tune in next week for another live session, Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. I've got an amazing guest coming on. She is going to talk about the masculine and feminine, and what that does when you own both of them. I don't want to give away too much because I'm excited to have this conversation with her. And whew, yeah, this is like a Jewish goodbye. Because as I'm trying to say goodbye, I keep thinking of more things to share, and it's just going to take forever. So I'm going to leave it there. Operation Separation. I'm in if you're in. Our mission is to do things that help us stand out, to do more of the things that we want to do on our terms, to find fulfilling work, and to find the love in ourselves that was always there, even when we couldn't see it. I'm your host, Shel Shapiro. Tune in next week for another live, and let me know what you think. Drop your comments, shoot me a message. All good things. I will figure out these lives more and more as I do them. I'm here for it. Bye for now.